Hi, this is Carl from Who Are These Podcasts? I think that most podcasts suck. But you know what show doesn't suck?
Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and comics from all over.
I think it's terrific! Especially when they're being so unfunny that it's really funny. Get it? It's a snail that makes honey, get it? Ha Love you guys!
The Talk Funny podcast from Nagoyaradio.com and Nagoyacomedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
We're back with Talk Funny. I'm Mark Bailey. We're here with Toufic.
As the woman, I like to be classy.
So Toufic has done open mic with us over several times now. You were with us that night of the Brazilian fiasco, where we entertained 92% of the people that were not even there to see us, and it went all right. Actually, we actually did get some laughs and some polite acknowledgement. Have you learned anything from open mic, or have you changed anything, or any regrets, or anything you're proud of?
In the open mic, I tend to go on autopilot, and that I don't think that's a good idea. I just want to say my material and get laughter. What I should be doing is just be in the moment and see how the audience reacts and just ride whatever I get. So improvisation, basically. But when you don't have much time, you have to just go with the safest option, which is just to say your material. And I find myself at home, whenever I'm commenting on something that's like going on in a funny way, I find myself like, okay, this would be good for open mic. It's kind of addictive. Like, making people laugh is gratifying. You know, and I mean, my friends know me as very funny, you know, and I am funny. It's just when
you're profane, I'll tell you that.
I am very profane, yes, because I'm brave, and you know, a lot of people think that gay men are cowards or like we're not man enough. We take more risks, and we are more profane than straight men can ever imagine. Okay, what good is going and fighting people when you will not explore your own rectum, sir?
For a podcast, the three most dangerous elements are butane, methane, and profane. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, you do seem to improv a lot. But there's kind of a thing where you're aware, you know, Russell Peters coming.
Yes.
Now, in my opinion, he's very funny and he can actually write, but there's a laziness part that is creeping into his act. Todd Barry, and in Tokyo, a lot of guys I saw, they do nothing but crowd work. It's kind of lazy, actually. You don't have to do any preparation. You don't have to do any writing. It's almost become a cliche. Yeah, you can sit there and go, you can say, where are you from, sir?
Right.
You can do that all night. It's not as funny as, for example, Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones.
Yeah.
You know, when you actually write something, George Carlin did very little crowd work because he was brilliant and he's a brilliant writer. So I want to hear your writing, you know? And so, yeah, you could do a little bit of crowd work. You know, someone drops a drink and falls over, and you say, Dad, I told you not to embarrass me. You know, you can do that kind of improv. But if that's your whole act and you're not prepared, which last time I was in Tokyo, a lot of comics did 10 minutes of just crowd work. It was not... As a comic, I did not enjoy it. It wasn't interesting.
There should be like a decent mix. I'm talking as a complete amateur here, but when I watch comedy, like in Sticks and Stones, there was an improvisation part when the phone went off, you know?
Oh, right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I appreciate when a person takes the time to write out something, but also when they're able to like be quick on their feet in the real time. Otherwise, you should just be a writer. But, you know, I mean, wit is something that is also important for me as an audience member.
One of the rules of comedy is, of course, if something happens... It's live comedy, so if something happens, if someone falls, you have to acknowledge it. You can't ignore it. But to just do nothing but talk to people in the room, eventually people are going to catch on that you actually didn't do any preparation.
But, you know, I've seen this with drag queen performers like Bianca Del Rio. She sometimes sounds like she's improvising when it's actually prepared. So she knows that eventually someone's going to get up and go to the bathroom. She knows eventually someone's going to be on their phone or something, or someone's going to talk. So she goes, hey, stop talking. This is a television. I can hear you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, she has, like, it's being equipped for whatever can happen.
You have to be self-aware, but you have to be also prepared with writing, you know.
Yes.
I forget which comic it was, but maybe more than one, where they'll look out and they see people holding their phones, taping. You've been told not to tape this every time. And they're video recording the performance in front of, and they're holding it in front of their face, and the comic will say, sir, with the phone in front of your face, can I remind you that you're actually here? You can actually watch this in real time. You don't have to tape this. Enjoy it. Put the phone down and enjoy my act.
And I'd say, it's none of your business. I want to watch you the way I want to watch you. And I'm like, if somebody is good, I'm going to record it. Maybe it's because I'm a millennial, but like, or I'm getting the most bang for my buck or whatever.
But it was Elton John one time, and he said, I see a lot of you with your phone. I may never tour again. Enjoy this moment. Put your phone down and look at me. And he said, your memory of looking at me, you won't remember looking at your phone. and you'll lose this file. You're not going to watch this ever again. But, you'll remember looking at me.
You know what? That's actually very true, to be honest. Sometimes when I record things on my phone, I just find them to be like, they just take up space, and I eventually delete them.
I can watch it later. I can always watch it later.
Yeah, I mean, if it's taped professionally by people who are paid to do it, and it's much clearer and is less of an effort for you to do, yeah, I think you should not do it.
Well, people think I can always watch it later, but a concert is an experience.
Yes.
You go there to experience it.
Yeah, that's true.
So enjoy the experience.
Yeah, because you can just buy the records, but like the real concert is the experience. I completely agree, yes.
And this is probably a very old reference for you, but there's a musician from the 80s called Joe Jackson. Brilliant guy. And he recorded a lot of songs that were popular in the 80s.
Is it the You Can Leave Your Hat On? Can leave your hat on.
Oh, that's
Cocker.
Joe Cocker.
Oh, how could I forget a name like that? Yes.
This Joe Jackson, so he had a lot of hits. They played on the radio. But he's a brilliant musician, and his father was a jazz musician. They like to do different versions. So he did kind of a harmonica accordion version of his hits, and another time he did acoustic-only version. This is in the 80s. And people in the audience are booing. And he stopped in the middle of the song, and he said, "I'm sorry, it's someone booing my song?" And someone said, "Play it like it is on the radio." And he said, "You've got a frickin' radio. Go in your car and listen to it."
I see, yeah.
He said, "I'm here now, and I may never come back.
Yeah.
I'm here now. Enjoy."
Especially with your attitude.
He said, "It's my song. I'll do it the way I want, and I'm trying to express it to you. And I'm trying to give you something you can't get on records. You can't get this on CD.
Yeah.
You can't get this on the radio.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not?" He said, "I can walk. Me and my band, we can leave." And someone said his biggest hit was Time, I think it was called. Time, clicking in your head. Kind of punk, actually. And they said, "Play Time." And, he probably intended to do that later. And he said, "Look, I'm doing some new stuff, and I'm experimenting with some stuff. And if you want to hear the hits, go to the bar, come back in an hour. But get out of my audience if you don't want to hear my art."
Yeah.
I thought you were here to see me. He said, "I could just put a boombox on here and leave. Should I do that?" And that's the thing with also Frank Zappa as artists. Frank Zappa said, people complain that your songs don't have a chorus. I don't expect you to know his music, but it's very...
Yeah, I know them, Frank Zappa and them others. I know some
it's
of
very
them.
improvisational.
He has Lebanese ancestry. So.
Also Sicilian.
Oh.
Via Sicily, yeah. He had people... He was not a top 40 guy.
Yeah.
He had a hit, I think, one hit accidentally. And he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
And he was an artist. He considered himself an artist. And he wrote a part for his drummer that was physically impossible for one drummer to play. He wrote 2 drum parts and interspersed them. And his joke was just to watch the drummer learn this. And sweating, and you're a drummer, I'm a drummer. With it's kind of the extreme version of
Whiplash.
Mm-hmm. And he was watching his drummer, and the drummer's like, "Man, I think I'm going to need a second drummer." And Frank Zappa was just kidding. And he said, "Well, I'll have to fire you and hire someone else." And he said, and the drummer said, "No, it's physically impossible what you've written." And he said, "Make it possible. I'll give you one day." The guy stayed up all night. He stayed up all night. And the next day, the drummer said, "I guess I'm going to have to quit because I really tried." He said, "I called my drum teachers. I called everyone. They said that there are 2 parts in this. And I need another drummer." He said, "I'll pay for it. And I'll do it on stage with you, and I'll pay for it, but we'll get it done, the 2 of us." And Frank Zappa said, "I'm just kidding. Pick the part you like, do that one."
Yeah, he had an interview. I had an interview. I saw an interview with a guitarist of his who was assigned to play like a difficult riff. And then Frank Zappa said, "Okay, play it 7/8. Okay, play it 2 times faster. Okay, play it like 5/8. And now add this note and that note and that note and that note."
Exactly.
And he couldn't do it. And he was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna leave." And the guy's like, Zappa's like, "You're in the band."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Frank Zappa, he testified in Congress in the 80s.
Really?
When they were saying that music played backwards.
Oh, Judas Priest also had that issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is Talk Funny, and tune in next week.